All right, I think we're good with the streaming. Okay, the volume seems to be okay. Let's just make sure there's no other technical issues before we get started. All right, it is 4:20-ish East Coast time. It's raining out here in New Jersey, and I just feel sort of I had some coffee. I just feel sort of I don't know, just like lazy. So why not do something that made me laugh a lot last time, which is read some Shakespeare. I honestly have other things to do, but I just can't muster up the energy to do anything else right now. So yeah, let me just start my day at 4:20 with some Romeo and Juliet. So that's Act 3. Now, let me remind myself of what happened in Act 2. Act 2, we had the wedding. It was sort of elided. Did we actually have the wedding? Yeah. So it was actually a scene just before the wedding. And it's funny because, I would have expected the very happy. Overall, I remember Act 2 being very happy. Something I didn't mention last time, but something that I went back to and sort of reviewed was Act 2 scene 3. And in scene 3, there's this huge tonal shift where in scene 2 we had just come off of like Romeo and Juliet being these extremely in love teenagers. We assume that Romeo is a teenager, but I don't know. But Juliet says, "Oh, I must say goodbye," and then she goes back into the house, and then she comes back out, and then she goes back in, and then she comes back out, and then she goes back in, and then she comes back out. And Romeo and Juliet says, "Just don't leave me," and they come up with like 20 different metaphors for why we shouldn't leave each other, or what leaving each other feels like, and it's just this extremely. I mean, if we want to get crude about it, it's just like this extremely horny scene, you know, and they stay up basically all night, just like talking to each other. Now, in the heat of that scene, right, with the heat of that scene, just sort of freshly in our minds, we go straight into scene 3. And in scene 3, all you have, oh no, sorry, not scene 3. Sorry, scene 4 is what I meant, because then we have this we have Romeo's sort of foolishness kind of being poked at by the friar, who's like, didn't you like love Rosaline and whatever. And then we have Juliet and Paris, and we have this sort of, okay, no, hang on, am I messing all this up? Give me a second. I'm going to make sure I'm not speaking out of place. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong... That's what it is. I'm sorry. I thought I clicked on this. Yeah. Well, I was so lost. Okay, let me reset that. So here's what happened, okay? In the craziness of scene 2, right? They exit. And then the next scene is this massive tonal shift. What happens is Friar Lawrence is just standing there by himself with a basket, and he's like picking flowers and weeds. Very quiet. And what happens is this sort of amazing, almost philosophical passage over here, which I'm going to call a monologue rather than a soliloquy, because it seems like he is sort of addressing us, okay? He's kind of talking out loud to us. this monologue where the friar talks about how the nature of man is like the nature of herbs. And there are two kings in the nature of man. And these two kings are grace and rude will. And if rude will becomes predominant, okay, over here. Here, I'm looking at this final bit. If rude will becomes predominant in the nature of man, it eats up that man himself. Moreover, there is this bit of, because everyone knows how Romeo and Juliet ends, there is this bit of foreshadowing with about the canker death eating up the whole plant, which could be the man himself, and the fact that the plant itself can be a poison. So there's like multiple layers of kind of punning that's going on over here. And part of that is foreshadowing the ending of the story. And what you have after this scene is you have, what's it called? You have not just the friar who's trying to temper Romeo. He's poking some fun at Romeo and kind of giving an adult's perspective on this whole situation. He's a little hesitant to marry them, but he sees their love and he's kind of like going along with it. Not only the friar, you also have the nurse. The nurse herself is like kind of helping out, or is it the nurse or the servant? I don't know, someone who's serving Juliet. She helps out. She goes and finds Romeo and everything. But then she's also a little hesitant. But at the end, she also gives in. And these characters are so real, man. They have their own thoughts, but they are also not in the wild passion of youth anymore. And they see it. They have some misgivings. And yet they just see that love and they're hoping for the best, I guess. They're hoping for the best. And it creates this level of dramatic irony where from the prologue, we know that this is going to end in death. And we know that there's some sort of intuition that these adults have, that something's it feels a little hasty. It's a little wild, and the adults feel that. But everyone's just sort of bound by this spell that Romeo and Juliet's love for each other. It's not just the two of them, it's the people around them as well, at least the people that are enabling it. And I don't know, it's just this, I'm just so into like how Shakespeare kind of weaves these different perspectives in, each character with their own very specific voice, their own very particular and unique voice, kind of fleshing out what is supposed to be such a cliched story. And yet it doesn't feel cliche. It's so full. It's so rich. I'm just loving that so much as I read this. It's actually it's out of everything I've streamed so far, this might be one of my favorites, just to have streamed with you guys. So I'm about to go into Act 3. Oh, but there is one other level of tension, okay, that's building up, which is that Paris gets a little moment. It might be in scene 4, okay? I'm like losing track because it's been like an entire weekend, but I vaguely recall there being like a Paris reference at some point. And maybe I'm wrong, so I won't dwell on it. But I mean, the main thing is that even though I can't find like a specific reference, like we also know that Juliet is being courted by Paris, so there is that bit of tension in the background as well. And so we're going into Act 3 now. We're going to Act 3, and we have Mercutio, Benvolio, who are the friends of Romeo. So let's get into scene 1 of Act 3. Okay, here we go. I'm struggling. I feel a little cold. I need like a little bit of warm up. I'm not sure where I am. So my brain isn't okay. They just got. They're at this very moment. They're about to get married, right? They're not actually married yet. Next act. Next scene. Mercutio, Benvolio, page and servants. I don't even. What is a page? Now that I think about it, it's like a carries. Does it carry like a page boy, an attendant of some sort? That's all. Okay, that's all it means. So it's hot. I thought they were still in the spring, but it's hot. And Benvolio has these misgivings that the Capulets, abroad as in not far away, but actually out and about, it seems like. So they're going to end up fighting. The mad blood is stirring. You know, what's also interesting right here is the mad blood is stirring. And I'm sure that's not only referring to the instinct to fight, but it's also instinct. It's kind of a reference also to the mad blood of love. I think. I don't know if you can avoid that pun, that sort of that double meaning there. I don't know if you can avoid it. It has to be referring to it. So Mercutio is kind of making him out to be a hypocrite, or like a sort of flighty fellow. We're saying that Benvolio is also a sort of a fighter. And what to move to what? Nay, if there were two such, we should have none, surely, for one will kill the other. Okay, yeah. Okay, we're turning Benvolio into somebody who will fight over nothing, right? We're making him out to be that way. So this is creating some tension because now it's like, who's gonna fight whom? And we know that Tybalt is angry, so and Tybalt is the right. Actually, this is important. Benvolio right now is being characterized as someone who's a fighter, who's quick to fight, who's quick to anger, and Tybalt was already being characterized that way. Tybalt's the sort of idiot son, idiot cousin or something that just kind of like runs. He's just like hoofing. He's huffing and puffing around in the background, right? So. Thy head is as fun of quarrels as an egg is fun full of meat. Is this full of quarrels? Is that like a typo? Anyway. For coffee. Yeah. You fight with anybody for anything. And yet thou wilt tutor me from quarreling, you hypocrite. If I were so apt to argue as you, any man should buy the feast simple of my life for an hour and a quarter. Simple by my head. Here comes. Okay, so we're actually characterizing both of them as fighters, as quick to fight, quick to anger. By my heel, by my head, here comes. By my heel, I don't care. Didn't we have a scene in Act 1 where some people were pretending that they were about to fight and then they didn't? There was some scene like that. I don't remember it right now. I'm gonna move on, but that's kind of it's kind of fun. It's like a fun little juke out. It's like, people talking the talk. Now Tybalt is here. Now it feels like they're actually, if I remember correctly, they're gonna actually fight, right? So follow me close. So Tybalt's trying to talk, and Mercutio's actually trying to fight. Minstrels, like clowns? Oh, musicians, right? Thou makes, if thou make minstrels of us, discords, consort. Here's my fiddlestick. Okay, so he's Zune's consort. Okay, so Benvolio is trying to stop Mercutio, and Mercutio is being very fiery. Well, peace be with you here, sir. Here comes. In fact, if anything, Tybalt's the one who's calmer. It seems like. Yeah, Tybalt's definitely being calmer. He's speaking less. What's this wearing your clothes? What's that referring to? I am confused. I'm gonna move. Thou art a villain, Romeo. I think Tybalt is not supposed to be very. I think he's supposed to not be very educated. I don't know if this is. I don't know if this is the right inference to make here, but Romeo, I hate you more than anything. And then the best he can come up with is, "Thou art a villain." You know, I think that's supposed to be underwhelming. You don't know who I am. I love you. For some reason you may not understand at this moment. And I forgive your rage. Boy, this shall not excuse the injuries that thou hast done me, therefore turn. Oh, Tybalt is a little. So Tybalt's ignoring Mercutio and trying to fight Romeo. Okay, so Tybalt is being. Actually, you have to imagine the scene as Tybalt being very, like, offended. And I do protest. Love, I love thee better than you can imagine. You should know the reason of my love soon. I cherish the name of good Capulet. Please calm down. And Mercutio is upset. Oh my God, do not be so weak. Oh, calm, dishonorable, vile submission. Do not submit. And Tybalt's like, why are you bothering me? Now Mercutio's challenging him, so Tybalt finally, and Tybalt is basically, yeah, Mercutio's egging this on, and Romeo is so it's this is supposed to be a chaotic scene. You have to imagine it as chaotic. Romeo's trying to calm him down. Mercutio's ignoring. Benvolio calmed him down. Okay, so it's crazy. And then Tybalt stabs Mercutio. Hang on. And he flies. And he runs away. Oh my God. Okay, so Mercutio. But okay, it's such a craziness they don't even notice. Art thou hurt? Fetch a surgeon. 'Twill serve. Okay, so Mercutio is dying. Wow, this is a. I'm just noticing how enjammed this speech is. No, 'tis not so deep as a well, nor so wide as a church door, but 'tis enough to serve. Ask for me tomorrow, and you shall find me a grave man. I am peppered, I warrant for this world, a plague on both your houses. Zoons, a dog, a rat, a mouse, a cat to scratch a man to death, a braggart, a rogue, a villain that fights by the book of arithmetic. Why the devil came you between us? I was hurt under your arm. I thought all for the best. I don't know what it is, but this enjambment, this sort of breathlessness, it's like it feels very start and stop, like starting and stopping, start and stoppy. I'll just make up that word right now. It feels very stuttery, and it feels like he's dying. It does feel that way. It's I'm kind of moved by that enjambment there. And Mercutio, that sucks, man. He curses them all, a plague on both of your houses. He's kind of blaming. Man, he's blaming. I have it, and soundly to your houses. He's blaming. He's cursing both the Capulets and the Montagues. He died for me. My reputation is stained with the slander of Tybalt. Oh, that an hour hath been my kinsman means they were married now. Okay, so I was kind of wondering about that. Were they actually married yet? But he had been kinsman, so that means they were married. Oh, sweet Juliet, you've made me effeminate. Okay. So, in this world, honor is a big deal. Tybalt is now his cousin or something like that, but Tybalt has has slandered Romeo, so Romeo has to fight and exact revenge on Tybalt. Okay. Rough times, man. And Mercutio's dead. Okay. And that was fast. Holy crap. But I guess that's what happens in Shakespearean. Yes, the move. This is a fast, well-paced movie. Okay. Tybalt is back. Okay, that's crazy. Lenity must mean lenience, so okay, they're both saying you're gonna die, and they fight. And just imagining this scene, you know, if you have good actors, you have good. If you have a good dramatist, right, who's setting this all up, of course, this scene is going to be very intense, and you will not know who's going to win. Now, obviously, you kind of know who's going to win, but it will feel surprising when Romeo wins. Go through that scene. So unfortunately, when you're just reading the story, you can't actually imagine. You can't actually see it. You have to just imagine it. If you're actually at the theater, though, this should be one of those juicy scenes. And Romeo, away be gone. The citizens are up, and Tybalt is slain. Oh, I am fortune's fool. Why dost thou stay? So Romeo, out of anger, and see, that's that's an amazing line. Out of anger, he kills Tybalt, but now he's like, I am fortune's fool. Like, it's that in Korean we have 현자 time, that moment afterwards. What's that? 현자 time is like. It's actually a very crude word, slang word. It means that feeling of emptiness that hits you at like in this big wave after you fap. That's actually the slang definition. But it literally means the time of enlightenment, because 현자 is like this enlightened person. And right now, Romeo is going through that time of enlightenment, that sort of regret after the action. Oh no, I just screwed myself. I am fortune's fool. Get out of here, you idiot. And then the citizens come. And Tybalt, where's Tybalt? And he's like, Tybalt is dead right there. The Montague and Capulet are here. I can discover, as in like uncover, I can explain how this happened, how this managed to happen. Tybalt was slain by young Romeo, and Tybalt actually, and Mercutio was slain by Tybalt. And Capulet is going hysterical. The nephew of Capulet. Oh, prince, oh, cousin, husband, oh, the blood is spilled, my dear. As thou art true, for blood of ours shed blood of Montague. Oh, cousin, Benvolio, who began this bloody fray. Tybalt. So the prince must be feeling a little, because the prince's kinsman was killed by Tybalt, but Capulet is going hysterical about Tybalt, and asking the prince to slay the Mercutios, the Montagues. So if you have a good actor for the prince, a lot of emotions going on right now. Now Benvolio is being extremely honest. Romeo did kill Tybalt, but Romeo was trying to keep him calm. Right now, the problem is the only witness is Benvolio, and I guess the servants, but they're all on their side. Hang on, I'm like losing track. This is all this uttered with gentle breath. Okay, right. Romeo was being gentle, calm, humble. Tybalt's spleen is unruly. He's insensitive to peace. He's unmoved by peace, and he tilts at Mercutio, who all is hot. Hey, there is a lie. There's a lie in there. That's complicated. That's fun. It's fun because it's complicated. Because he makes it sound like Romeo was trying to calm Tybalt down, and Tybalt was the first to point at Mercutio, which, by the way, makes no sense. Because Tybalt didn't care about Mercutio whatsoever. He only because I don't think Mercutio is a Montague, right? Mercutio is related to the prince, not to the Montagues. Tybalt's just really pissed at at Romeo. So there is a lie in here. So Mercutio is also hot with anger, and with martial scorn, with one hand beats cold death aside, and with the other sends it back to Tybalt, whose dexterity retorts it. Romeo is saying, "Hold, friends, part," okay, which is true, and his agile arm beats down their fatal points, and he rushes in between them. And underneath Romeo's arm, a thrust from Tybalt hit the life of stout Mercutio, and then Tybalt fell. That part's all true. That's so great. That one tiny lie about who started it, right sandwiched in the middle of all this truth. And of course that's how you're gonna lie to the prince if you're the only witness. Dude. What gives me such joy reading this is just how inaccessible I felt that this story was when I was a kid. And even now, how hard it is to read it, relatively speaking, compared to like modern English prose, it's so much harder to read this, right? But seeing it come to life now, I just, oh man, it's just so, like, it's so worth the effort of understanding what's happening, because these characters are so full and rich. And then Tybalt fled. And to it they go like lightning, for before I could draw to part them. Yeah. Maybe that's a little bit of a lie. I don't think Benvolio tried to stop Romeo, but that doesn't seem as... Yeah, it doesn't seem as true. That doesn't seem super as consequential, so I'm going to move on. He's a kinsman to the Montague. He does not speak truth. Some 20 of them fought, and all 20 of them could kill, but only Tybalt. And Lady Capulet is just making things up, because I guess that's how justice works. Two liars trying to lie better. Romeo slew Tybalt. Tybalt slew Mercutio. So prince gets the main point, though. He gets it. Who now the price of his dear blood doth owe, of Mercutio's dear blood doth owe. And Montague comes in, not Romeo. Oh, okay, yeah. And Montague saying something very logical, which is Tybalt was the guy who killed Mercutio. Now the price must be paid by Tybalt, but the price has just been paid, thanks to Romeo. The price that the law would have exacted is right there. Has already been paid. And for that offense, I will exile Romeo. My blood, my kin, my cousin or somebody is bleeding for your brawls. This prince is being firm, and I think, yeah, you have to imagine the prince feeling a lot of pain and a lot of he's trying to be a good prince. He's containing himself. You might see like his face welling, his eyes welling up a little bit. And he's also being firm. Romeo must be killed if he is found here. Whew. Okay, that was scene 1. All right, hang on. So Paris is still running around. Romeo has fled, but is actually married to Juliet. So Act 3 is where where the plot thickens. Let's move on to scene 2, but I'm just trying to see if there's anything else I need to keep track of. Romeo probably will go to the back to the friar at some point, yeah, and to Juliet at some point. We'll see. I honestly, I don't remember this story very well. I'm like lost. I'm lost. Let me. I don't know what happened, but I just kept trying to read it, and I don't know what she's talking about. So let me try this again. We're in the orchard right now. We're back at her home. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. Gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, towards Phoebus' lodging. Now, I think it means it's turning evening. Okay. because they're going to the west now that I think about it. All right, Phaeton has to do with light, I think. So let me just double check. The son of the sun god. I think he's something with the chariot. And Phoebus Apollo. Phoebus Apollo, right, when we're referring to him as a sun. So the sun's lodging. So yes, it's turning evening right now. Okay, so that's the main thing I have to as. So okay, there we go. Phoebus is being carried by Phaeton, okay, to the west, to lodge, to sleep. Bring in cloudy night immediately. Spread thy close curtain, love performing night. Spread the curtain, love performing night. That sounds very sexual. Okay, we're spreading the curtain, love performing night. That runaway's eyes may wink. And Romeo leaped to these arms, untalked of and unseen. I think Juliet doesn't know what happened to Romeo. So she's waiting for the night to come. So she's waiting for the night to come so that Romeo can kind of steal back into the orchard. I see. And lovers can see to do their amorous rites. Okay, yes, by their own beauties. If love be blind, it best agrees with night. Come, civil night, thou sober-suited matron, learn me how to lose a winning match. Played for a pail of stainless maidenhoods, hood my unmanned blood bathing in my cheeks, with thy black mantle, till strange love grown bold, think true love acted simple modesty. Okay, extremely sexual imagery right now. She's basically waiting to be deflowered and to consummate the marriage. Let's see. It's this interesting little until strange love, which has become bolder, believe that true love was acting as simple modesty. I don't fully understand that, but let's move on. Come night, come Romeo, come thou day in night. Romeo is the day in the night, for thou wilt lie upon the wings of night, whiter than new snow on a raven's back. Come, gentle night, come, loving black-browed night, give me my Romeo, and when he shall die, take him and cut him out in little stars. And he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night and pay no worship to the garish sun. How... I remember seeing this in the reviews, in Goodreads, and I'm just moved right now by these lines. It's, by the way, because I'm not gonna hold back, guys. Even if you're a high schooler watching this is talking about sex, right? When he shall die. I'm like 95% sure, because when he shall die refers like to the idea of the little death. When after sex you have this feeling of like it's ended and you die a little. Okay, because I think that's like an English cliche that has existed, and I think I'm assuming it existed back then as well. So after we consummate our marriage, take him, cut him out in little stars, and make him shine up, light up the night, so that people no longer worship the garish sun, Phoebus, Apollo, and Phaeton. Make night that I have bought the mansion of a love, but not possessed it. I am sold, I've not enjoyed it. So tedious is this day, I'm waiting for this night before some festival to an impatient child that hath new robes and may not wear them. Now, it is a little creepy because she's 13, so just to throw some cold water on this scene. What the hell? But who knows? Culturally, was that like a thing? I don't understand this. I'm not gonna comment on it because I don't know. Now, nurse, what news? What hast thou there? The cords. Aye, the cords. I mean, what news? He's dead. Okay. And now, of course, with that bit of, again, that bit of dramatic irony, we see Juliet's going to freak out, but the nurse is not talking about Romeo. Whoever would have thought of Romeo? Right. So a hysterical scene. Again, the volume is turned up right now. We're at 10. Is a cockatrice is a type of bird? Basilisk. Ooh, yeah, okay, never mind. That makes way more sense. I don't know if I like this one. We're punning on this I as in yes, like AYI, and then the I, and then the I of the self, and then also the I of the basilisk. There's a lot of I's going on there. There's three levels of punning right now, but I don't know. It seems like a little overdone there. I'm gonna move on. So obviously the nurse is talking about Tybalt, but oh, break my heart, poor Bank, break at once to prison, and thou and Romeo press one heavy bier. Now let me just make sure I know what this. Okay, something with a coffin. So at this point, Juliet is finally expressing that, oh my God, Romeo died. Oh, Tybalt, Tybalt, the best friend I had. And now Nurse actually explains. And Juliet's pissed. Oh my God, you're not even talking about Romeo. He's banished. Okay. Oh, serpent heart, hid with a flowering face. Now Juliet is angry, and oh, this. Okay, again, here you need to have this complex brew of emotions has to come through. You have to imagine this on the actress's face and speech, but right now she's like, oh my God, he's a serpent, right? His face, his flowering face is hiding his serpent heart. She feels tricked, deceived. She feels deceived. You are the opposite of what you seem. You are as damned a saint, an honorable villain. How could such an ugly thing be so beautiful? They're all liars. Where's mine, man? Give me some aqua vitae. Isn't this like alcohol? Let me just remind myself what this is. What? You can't look up words if it's two words in the books app? Bruh. Kindle. I'm gonna do it on my computer. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, it is. It's an archaic name for alcohol. Okay. give me some give me some drink. Shame, Romeo. Blistered be thy tongue for such a wish. He was not born to shame. Oh, Juliet's also going. Juliet's flip. She's flipping. She's flipping back to defend him. Okay. Again, just reading this by itself, and if you're not imagining this, if you're not imagining what's happening here with the like on the face, literally, of this actress, of Juliet herself, if you're not imagining it, it's not going to be as engaging. You got to imagine it. He is my husband. I've been your wife for 3 hours and you've mangled your name. Why did you kill my cousin? He would have killed my Romeo. Stop crying. She's talking to herself. I should be happy because I should be comforted because Tybalt, who would have killed Romeo, has now been killed. Right. The thing that makes me sadder is that Romeo is banished. That is as bad as 10,000 Tybalts dying. If only he had just merely died, then it would be okay. Okay, so that's fun too, because this is not something you see in modern literature so much. But basically, Juliet is sorting her feelings out in real time. She's kind of she's bouncing all over the place in real time. And I think I think there was an argument, and again, I'm not so much of a literature professor type anymore. I used to read a lot more about this stuff years ago. But I remember some argument. Was it Harold Bloom that made this argument? That, or maybe it's a much older argument, who knows? Uh, this argument that Shakespeare was the first dramatist of the individual. I don't know if that's the right word. Okay, and something I think college educated literature students would know far better than me right now. So if you do know, by the way, please drop it in the comments below. But it's like these days in movies, if you have like a voiceover that kind of tells you what the character is feeling, like as the story is going, that's kind of considered like it's not the best way of demonstrating the emotions of revealing the emotions of a character, right? But these days, when you have movies like that, when you have in the era of the movie or film or cinema, I mean, uh, you're allowed to do a lot of things like close-ups. You can do a lot of things with like angles and like you can do like lighting, and you can do a lot of those things. I mean, you could do that in plays too, I guess. But you don't have to necessarily spell it all out, and people will still be able to figure it out. At the time, though, and this is just me making some guesses, so if I'm wrong, please correct me. At the time, though, it must have been quite revolutionary. I don't want to overuse that word, but revolutionary to have such complex feelings at all in a character. And so probably, especially in the context of a theater where people of all sorts are watching, it would be good to have. I mean, it would just be such a new thing, I assume, for these characters to express these feelings out loud and to and you're journeying with the character's feelings, right, as it goes up and down and just all over the place. And I think, and even now it feels real to me, even though I'm somebody who has read a lot of modern literature or watched a lot of modern cinema. um, I don't know, I'm just trying to see if I can help you guys appreciate that little bit here of how much Juliet has kind of jumped back and forth here. I think that's something that's worth paying attention to. Moving on. What? Ah, okay. Oh, I see. You know what I lost? I lost this last question. Okay. The question is, where's my father and my mother? They're weeping. Will you go to them? I will bring you there. They're washing his wounds with tears. My tears will be spent on Romeo. Take up those cords, poor ropes, you are beguiled, both you and I, for he's exiled. What are these cords? Is that for climbing into her room? Is that what that is? Um, I'll find Romeo to comfort you. I wot well where he is. Hark ye, your Romeo will be here at night. So what must mean no? Whatever. Moving on. Oh, find him. Oh, so actually here you must have immense joy at Juliet. So Juliet's gonna have feel immense joy knowing that the nurse knows. The nurse has finally caught up with Juliet's situation, so now finally the nurse is directly talking to Juliet. But yes, here we go. You are wedded to calamity, father. What news? So the friar actually had hoped that the marriage of these two would bring peace, but it's the opposite. Okay, banishment. I would rather die. Do not say banishment. Be patient, for the world is broad and wide. There is no world without Verona. Outside of Verona's walls. Sorry, not without Verona. Without can mean outside. Like within, without. You are smiling on my death because the friar is at least happy that Romeo doesn't have to die, but actually Romeo's upset that the friar is happy. You should be thankful. The prince has been kind. This is mercy. Why do you not see mercy? This is torture, not mercy. Heaven is here. And every unworthy thing may look upon her, but I cannot. More honorable state, as in carriage, or as in quality. Okay, more honorable quality lives in the flies of carrion than in me. He is not able to consummate the marriage. He is banished. Flies made, so the little pun there. Thou fond madman, hear me but speak a word. So that's a funny little line. What that means is the friar is trying to calm him down and been trying to speak, but Romeo has just been kind of speaking over him. Look, let me comfort you, bro. Calm down. I have something good to say. This is a genuinely emo little speech. you can't, you can't, you're not allowed to talk unless you know how I feel. Dude, that's so emo. All right, moving on. Tear thy hair, tear thy hair and fall upon the ground, as I do now, taking the measure of an unmade grave. Hide thyself. Hark who knocks. So this knocking must be okay. So this scene has to be a little chaotic, right? There's the knocking, da 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 da. Romeo being hysterical, the friar trying to calm down. It's gonna be a little bit. It should be chaotic. And now the friar's talking to two people at the same time. He's maybe pulling Romeo up. He is even in my mistress's case, so they are the same as each other right now. They're acting the same. Just in her case, a wolf of sympathy. Piteous predicament, even so lies she. Stand up, stand up. Stand and you be a man. Deep and oh. Nurse. That's such a. I don't know about that particular joke. With blood removed but little from her own. It's like, does she not think of me as a murderer because I killed her Tybalt instead of deflowering her? That's so ridiculous. I don't know. I feel like that's also overdone here. He hates his own name now. And this is Romeo, 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 Romeo. You know, we've said the name Romeo so many times at this point, so it's natural to just come and turn it back on itself, to turn the name itself into a hateful thing. He draws his whole sword. He's trying to kill himself now. He's being very over the top. Art thou a man? Your tears are womanish. You're like a beast. And suicide is a sin, right? So the finally the right now we finally get the friar in fury. So he was trying to calm him down, but now he's angry. So we have a different tone. The volume coming out of the volume, the pitch coming out of the friar is going to be much higher. Fie, fie, thou shamest thy shape, thy love, thy wit, which like a usurer aboundest in all. Right, so now we're whipping him. We're chastising him. Your Juliet is alive. Like in Korean, 정신 차려. Like wake up. um, thou art happy. At least there's one good news. You've killed the person who would have killed you. Plus, you're not to be killed. You're merely exiled. There thou art happy. Happy also meaning kind of lucky. You are a blessed man right now. But now, like a misbehaved, sullen wench, you are pouring, you pout on your own fortune and your love. Romeo is coming. Wow. We're going to have, and he has this amazing plan. What an amazing adult figure for Romeo. This is gonna blow over, boy. This is going to blow over. We're going to come and we're gonna beg the prince to take you back in the future. Chill out. Bid her hasten all the house to bed, because Romeo is coming. And the nurse is happy, because they care. They genuinely care. And see, these are kind and caring adults right now. They care about their Juliet and their Romeo, and the nurse is delighted right now. Ah, and the nurse is sending a ring. How romantic, right? I wonder what the culture was at the time with in terms of rings and marriage. I assume the ring thing is more of a modern thing, but sometimes you never know. Like tennis is super ancient, um, so I'm kind of curious what happened there. Ancient might not be the right word for tennis. It's just bothering me, like the pedantic side of me. So ancient might not be the right word, but tennis has been around for like 500 years, I think. What I'm losing track. Oh, but Romeo is lightening up a little bit. I'll find your man, as in I'm gonna find a messenger for you, and every good news over here we will send. Give me your hand. It's late. Good night. So go to Juliet's, consummate your marriage, and leave. And leave. But that a joy past joy calls out on me. It were a grief so brief to part with thee. So right now we have scene three. We just ended scene three, and one thing that's like the pitch and the noise and the volume of the chaos of these scenes has been very high. Okay, the first scene was the fight. The second scene was Juliet being hysterical, and then the third scene is Romeo being hysterical. It's been the volume has been set to 10 almost the entire time. We're finally toning it down. Okay. Of course, this is only gonna be momentarily, so we'll see what happens next. So everyone thinks she's crying for Tybalt, but that's not true. Paris is like, these times of woe afford no time to woo. Madam, good night. Commitment to your daughter. So Paris is just being an idiot. He's like, I've come to romance your daughter. Sorry, she's crying. Okay, guess not. And the father's being a little insensitive here. Let's see. She will obey me. Wife, go to Julia before you go to sleep, and let her know of Paris's love, and bid her to on Wednesday next. Oh, what day is this? Monday. Well, Wednesday is too soon. Thursday. Tell her that she's going to be married to Paris on Thursday. So, amazing father here. Juliet is crying is bawling her eyes out, and Tybalt is dead. And he's like, "Tell Juliet, you're gonna get married in 3 days." Hang on. So Romeo and Juliet are now together, and oh my god, this is such a crazy scene, dude. Oh no. So the mom is going to come and find Romeo the killer of Tybalt. That's a complete scandal. I didn't remember this scene whatsoever. I still don't really remember exactly what happened. So this is going to be, if that happens, that's crazy. Wilt thou be gone? It is not yet near day. It was the nightingale, not the lark. So it's still pretty dark. It's not so late. And Juliet does not want Romeo to leave, and Juliet's telling Romeo, "Hey, we still have some hours." And Romeo's being a little paranoid. Oh my god, it's getting light out, you know. Believe me, it was the nightingale. No, it was the lark. No nightingale. Look, love, what envious streaks do lace the severing clouds in yonder east. I must be gone. And Juliet's like, no, don't go. I will die. I will die to be with you. I am happy if you will have me here. Sure. I will say that color is not the morning, but just the pale reflex of Cynthia's brow. That it is not the lark, but just. I will deceive myself. Cynthia's Artemis? Hang on, what? How come I'm getting the Korean dictionary? Alright, let's look this up. How come I'm not getting the. You know what? I'll just work with Artemis. Sure, I will die. Juliet wills it so. It's not day, it is. And so Juliet is like, okay, you're gonna die, so let's go. Some say the lark makes sweet division. What a beautiful line right there. I never heard this before. This cliche, if it existed, in the English language, I never heard it before. But the lark divides the sweet, makes a sweet division between night and day it marks the beginning of the day with the dawn. But now she divides us. More light and light, more dark and dark our woes. The day is broke. Oh, I guess the mother hasn't slept yet, or yeah, I guess the mother. So it's okay. Anyway, not an important detail. One kiss and all of a sudden he goes away. Okay, so he wasn't caught. Okay, well that happens. Oh, I have a bad feeling about this. I see you as somebody dead in the bottom of a tomb. Like, look, okay, so there's a bit of two layers going on. She's physically looking at him below her window. And you look like you are a dead person at the bottom of a tomb. So there's a bit of foreshadowing here because we already know what's happening with him. He's gonna die, and I see it, and you look pale. Dry sorrow drinks our blood. Adieu, adieu. Oh, fortune, fortune. How now, Juliet? Madam, I am not well. For your cousin's death. Be done with it. Some grief shows much of love, but much of grief shows still some want of wit. You're being silly if you cry too much. Yet let me weep for such a feeling loss. So Juliet is obviously Lady Capulet is going to think of Tybalt, but she's talking about let me just cry for Romeo. Huh? Oh, that's interesting. What does Capulet mean? You weep because he lives. Ay, madam. From the reach of these my hands, would none but I might venge my cousin's death. I wonder what this means for Juliet. I'm not fully sure. I feel like there's a double meaning here, but I don't get it. I will send an assassin to Mantua to kill Romeo. Juliet is straight up lying, right? Till I behold him dead is my poor. Oh, I see. There's the double meaning. I will never be satisfied with Romeo until I see him dead. Vexed is my poor heart for a kinsman. Okay? So that's the first meaning. The second meaning is I shall never be satisfied with Romeo till I behold him. My heart is dead for a vexed kinsman. Okay, so there's that grammatical pun now. I don't know if there's a word for this. It's kind of like Toys R Us, right? Like Toys Saurus, like the dinosaur, Tyrannosaurus Rex, right? Toys Saurus and Toys R Us. Like I don't know if there's a word for that though. If you guys know what that word might be, because that's a very specific type of pun. I feel like there must be a word for it somewhere because the old rhetoricians had labels for everything. But yes, there's a little bit of Juliet is lying but not lying. To wreak the love I bore my cousin upon his body. She wants to wreak love on Romeo's body. and Lady Capulet is completely interpreting this the wrong way. Your father is careful, and he wants you to be happy, so he's gonna give you a happy day. What day is that? This is gonna, and you have to, this right here, this scene. If you're imagining this, the actual scene on the stage. Now Juliet's her 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 feelings are gonna come exploding out of her. I'm assuming. Marry, my child, the gallant young and noble gentleman, Paris. Must I wed him before he even woos me? No. And yet, and when I do, I swear it shall be Romeo, whom you know I hate, rather than Paris. These are news indeed. Okay, so actually, this here has to be a fiery scene. That has to be. She even says, "I would rather marry." So from Capulet's ears, she's thinking, "You would rather marry Romeo than Paris? You hate him that much?" That's kind of her interpretation. But Juliet's actually saying, "I want to marry Romeo." So there's a bit of that wordplay is ongoing. This is masterful dramatic irony and masterful punning, by the way. Shakespeare is just like driving. He's telling a single scene, but this scene is actually two totally different scenes depending on which character you are. How now, a conduit girl? What, still in tears? Kind of random metaphor here or analogy here that he's making. He's calling her a bark of tree, a sea, and a wind. But she will none, she gives you thanks. I would the fool were married to her grave. I wish you were dead now. So the wife is pissed. She's not thankful? I am not proud. I am thankful. I cannot be proud of this Paris that I'm hating. But yes, I am thankful for a hateful thing because you mean it out of love. She's being a good daughter, a good and argumentative daughter. Chop logic. Capulet is a little silly here. Fettle your fine joints against Thursday next to go with Paris to St. Peter's Church. He's cursing his own daughter right now, and his wife is now upset. He's about to disown her. Because, yeah, the father, he's like, how can you be so thankless? You know, this is traditional morality within the family, right? He regrets having, so these are very hysterical people here, okay? Now everyone's upset at the father for overreacting. The nurse and the shut up, nurse. May not one speak. The nurse is upset and feisty enough to fight with the father. You are too hot. Everyone is trying to calm him down. It's so realistic, this scene. Honestly, it's so realistic. Um, this line is interesting. God's bread, it makes me mad. Day, night, hour, tide, time, work, play. What's with this list? That's such an interesting thing to say suddenly. Alone in company. Still my care hath been to have her matched, and having now provided a gentleman of noble parentage, of fair demean, youthful, and nobly trained, stuffed, as they say, with honorable parts, proportioned as one's thought would wish a man, and then to have a wretched puling fool, a whining mammet in her fortune's tender. To answer, I'll not wed, I cannot love, I am too young, I pray you, pardon me. But as you will not wed, I'll pardon you. Graze where you will, you shall not house with me. Look to it, think on it, I do not use to jest. This is no joke, Thursday's near. So he's forcing it to happen. If you be mine, I'll give you to my friend. If you will not be mine, hang, beg, starve, die in the street. He's furious. Juliet is sad, and this is an overwhelming. It's an overwhelming fact. It's an overwhelming piece of news that the father is giving her an ultimatum. And even Lady Capulet is who is trying to calm. Wow, such feelings, right? She was trying to calm the father down, but she's also really upset at Juliet. So this is so realistic, honestly. Here's the comfort. Romeo is gone. And all the world to nothing. That he dare ne'er come back to challenge you. He must only come back hidden. I think the best case scenario is you marry the county, the Paris. Now the nurse is trying to give her best effort to be like, Paris is not so bad. She's pumping Paris up. Amen. Amen to the beshrewing both your soul and your heart. Oh, interesting. Oh, whoa. Oh, she's rebelling against the father. I'm going to go and be a nun. Oh, wait, no, no, no. No. Okay, I see. I think what she's saying. Maybe there's two meanings. Maybe I'm confused. Okay. Um, but at least the way that that the nurse is understanding it seems to be that Juliet is going to go to Lawrence's cell to seek absolution for her sin of fighting back against her father. So she's going to repent, and then she's going to come back and she's going to marry Paris. That's the way I think the nurse is interpreting it. The way I first interpreted it was, I'm going to go be a nun. I think maybe now Shakespeare is actually just being a little ambiguous about this to kind of, it's like a cliffhanger, what's going to actually happen. And Juliet is angry at, okay, I see. So Juliet is now lying to her own nurse, whom she trusted with all her heart. And I think this scene is going to be pretty powerful. If should be very powerful as long as you've shown the sort of closeness of the nurse and Juliet through the first three acts. And here there's a rift, and Juliet is going to feel betrayed. So this is going to be this should be a powerful scene. Oh my God, I cannot believe her. To wish me forsworn to Paris? I can't believe she did that. And I can't believe she wants me, that she is actually cursing Romeo with the same tongue that she praised him before so many thousand times. I can't even tell which is worse of these two. No longer will you and I be one. We will be twain. We will be two. You are no longer my friend, basically. I'm gonna go to the friar to figure out what to do. If there is no answer, I will kill myself. All right. Act 3, I feel like I think I enjoyed a little less than Act 2. I can't really fully tell yet, but I do feel like I enjoyed it a little less. Here, I'll zoom. What happened with Act 3 was like they fight, Mercutio dies, then Tybalt dies, Juliet goes frantic, Romeo goes frantic, a provisional plan is made, but then a counter plan is made with Paris. Like the first plan, and we're feeling calm in acts and in scene 4, I think, or maybe scene 3, where everything will be okay. You're just gonna leave for a while. You'll come back. Okay, go consummate. And so they do have that final sweet moment where they finally consummate their marriage. They're in the bed together, and Romeo leaves. But the problem is, now she's getting married to Paris. The best parts of Act 3 were when, you had like everyone with their, like, the fights with everyone having these complex feelings. They're such real people. These characters, they feel so real. Like Lady Capulet turning on Capulet himself and telling him to chill out. Come on, please calm down. But also still being resentful of Juliet at the same time for being silly. And like things like that. And also Juliet falling out with her nurse, and the ongoing deceit, like Juliet speaking the way that Capulet wants to hear, Lady Capulet wants to hear, but never actually lying, and the ongoing misunderstanding between the Juliet and the nurse when the nurse is first telling the story about Tybalt. It's really well done, and there's a lot of heart. I feel the human connection, honesty, throughout the whole thing. Yeah, but it's a heavier act, so I'm a little tired out by this one. Let me know if you've found it, if you found any details in this particular act that you want to share that would be illuminating for understanding some new little aspect of this play, because there's so much going on. Obviously, I probably did not catch even half of it. But that is me trying to show. I'm just genuinely trying to just enjoy this thing, and I did enjoy quite a bit of it. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. Let me know in the comments. Anytime, anything that really stuck with you from what I said, and anything else that you want to contribute to the appreciation of this particular story. Also, as a side comment, if you have another story, another it could be a poem, because I'm good with poems. It could be a play. It could be longer work of fiction, it could be shorter work of fiction, it could be anything. But if there's anything you would want me to read in my downstream in the future, just let me know. I'm willing to be flexible with my reading schedule, as long as I know that there's people who actually want it. So I'm kind of curious, why you would want me to read whatever you want me to read. But yeah, just let me know what's your deal, what's your story, and I'll try to be as helpful as possible. Hope you enjoyed Act 3. I'm looking forward to reading Act 4 sometime in the next couple of days. I'll see you guys in the next one.